Was.
And so this video, when it ends, I notice where you're still in the interview room that you described before. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then where do you go next?
We go to my state-issued pickup, and we go back to drive the routes to see if we can jog his memory.
All right, let's pause, take our break. We'll come back in about 5 after 3, okay? Jump drive.
Order!
Everyone may be seated. We are ready to proceed. Mr. State.
Thank you, Judge. Ranger Espinoza, and again, I'm trying to keep all this in order. The next location that you go to from the jail is where?
This next interview will be from the Wise County Sheriff's Office to my pickup, and then driving his route, Horner's route, in my pickup.
And so your first destination when you leave the jail in your pickup is where?
Driving the route to the bamboo location.
So let me back up and ask you a couple of questions. Was this your plan to go back and drive the route?
Yes, sir.
And then who gave you directions to get back out there to get the location?
The defendant did.
Okay. And is this the same location you were at an hour or so before you got to the jail?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. So he took you to the same place that he took you before?
Yes, sir, which was County Road 4599.
All right. So out on County Road 4599, is this the same bamboo location that we talked about?
Yes, sir. That's the first location he took us initially, telling us that that's where Athena's body was. We were again directed to that location.
So he's telling you the same story as he told you before and took you to the same location?
Correct, yes, sir.
Now, during this time, you go back out to the bamboo. What do you do when you get back out to this location? And let me ask you, back up, ask you one question before that. What time was it when you got back out to the bamboo?
Can't give you an approximate time. I've been going all day. The sun was down. It was nighttime. It was sometime after dark.
The second question is this the same place that you had been before?
Yes, sir.
And then when you get there, who all is, when I say y'all, if you will, who is the y'all that gets to this location on 4599?
At that time, with me in my vehicle is myself, Tanner Horner, Investigator Oliver, and Ranger Danny Briley. At the location, we have multiple resources still there searching the area.
Okay, so let me make sure I've got the scene here. You guys have been at the jail for an hour or so, maybe more, maybe 2 hours doing this interview.
Yes, sir.
And you have resources that are out on 4599 doing search for Athena, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of resources were being used out there at the bamboo?
I still had all the resources. I didn't let anybody off the hook, so to speak. I still had air ops up. I still had our special operations group out. I had multiple rangers out. I had all the Wise County Sheriff's Office, all personnel there. Game wardens were still helping us. We had still K9. We had every resource that I had initially asked for still actively looking.
So you get back out to the bamboo where Tanner Horner sent you the first time, and What are you asking Tanner Horner when you get back out there the second time?
I'm again going back through direct me. Show me where she's at. To what am I missing here? We're searching this area. Are we missing something? Are we missing the drive location? Are we missing something? Okay, if we drive it back, is it going to jog your memory? Again, let's bring Athena home. We need to give family closure. We need to bring her home.
And what is his response to you asking those questions again?
He continues to give me the same answers and responses as before. She's there. That's where I put her. That's where she's at. Same lies over and over. When we do overviews, it's the same things that I know to be lies.
Now, in this particular area, what level of detail about where he put her body is he still providing you at this time?
He's still providing the same details as before.
Has anybody located any trace of her body out there at all?
No, sir.
And so with regard to that statement at that time, he's telling you again that she's out there. What do you know about that statement?
I know that's a lie.
Now, during this process, we had talked about some of your questioning of Tanner Horner. At some point, do you change tactics when you're out there at the bamboo and you're questioning Tanner Horner?
Yes, I do. At that point in my investigation and throughout the course of the interviews with Mr. Horner, I knew that I was going to have to play his game. And I knew that I was going to have to address him as zero in order to find Athena.
And let me just ask you, at some point, do you do that?
I do.
And let me ask you, when you do that, does he respond?
Yes, sir, he does.
And when you do that, is there any change in his attitude or demeanor when you do that?
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
At the time when I made the decision on the side of the road, keep in mind we've got tons of resources out there. I make the decision to do this and make another attempt at getting some truth out of him. When I tell him that know what I've been missing is that I've been talking to the wrong person, that I needed to be talking to zero. His physical demeanor changes. His head goes into a sideways motion. His eyes roll into the back of the head, and he pretends to turn into zero.
All right there in front of your eyes.
Yes, sir.
Like magic.
Yes, sir.
All you had to do was ask.
Yes, sir.
So this goes on. He has this change in body language and everything else. Where do you go from there?
At that point, I ask him to take me to Athena, and he says that he will, and we get into my pickup, and he directs me to Bobo's crossing.
So after 2+ hours, at least or more, of him telling you a story that she was in this location with significant detail, now he's telling you, oh yeah, I know where she is now. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's more like a combination of 4+ hours.
And so once this goes on, you go directly to where her body is located. Is that right?
Yes, sir. He then directs me directly to her body.
And the location, what's it commonly called?
Bobo's crossing.
And do you know the actual county road that it's on? Are you familiar with that?
Yes, sir.
And how long does it take you to get from the bamboo scene over to the Bobo crossing location?
If I recall correctly, I was driving pretty fast to get there. I think it didn't take me long, maybe 15 minutes, maybe less.
So at this point in time, what are you hoping for at this time?
To find Athena and bring her home.
So you get there to, and I'm just going to say Bobo crossing. Okay, does that work for you?
Yes, sir.
You get there and you get on scene. Is Tanner Horner able to tell you the various details about how he went about dumping her body there?
Yes, sir, he is.
Let me, Judge, if I may.
Yes.
Ranger Espinoza, I'm going to show you what I've marked. It's State's Exhibit 39 and 40. A couple of maps there. Do you recognize that location?
Yes, sir, I do.
And is one of those kind of a 1,000-foot view, and then one of them's a little more zoomed in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that the location you were talking about as where Tanner Horner directed you to where Athena's body was?
Yes, sir, it is. County Road 4668.
Okay. And by looking at that, are you going to be able to explain and tell the jury where he parked, where he dumped the body, and things of that nature?
Absolutely.
Judge, we'd offer States 39 and 40.
No objection.
States 39 and 40 are admitted.
Well, Mr. Berry's working on it. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. This location we're talking about, Bobo Crossing, what is the closest main thoroughfare to this location?
As far as what the,
Highway, FM, what's the closest one to it?
I think it's the road that goes back up north. I think that's still 51, I believe, back to the west.
Okay. Well, we'll show you the map here. So in this particular map here, the road we see going through the middle, is that what you're referring to as the Bobo Crossing Road?
Yes, sir. It goes east and west.
Okay. And you get to that from another farm to market road, right?
Yes, sir.
And so as you get here, is this where Tanner Horner directed you to go?
Yes, sir. Correct.
And did Tanner Horner give you specific directions on turn by turn on how to get from where you were to this location?
Yes, sir. From the bamboo location to there, he gave me directions on how to get there.
Okay. And at some point, did he explain to you why he knew this was this location was here in this area?
Yes, sir. He stated that he passed it every day on his way home.
So in this particular map here from up above, we see what is looks to be a creek or a river there going north and south. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And do you know what that creek or river is?
Yes, sir. It's a portion of the Trinity.
And so we get here. Let me show you the zoomed in version here. And I just want to make sure where we are. Same as before, just zoomed in.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And where did Tanner Horner tell you that he parked his truck at this location?
If you look at your first 4668 marker there, if you go up, there's a rail that goes across. You can't hardly see it too much from the picture as it depicts, but there's a guardrail that goes essentially north and south. He told me he backed his truck there, and then from there he took Athena to the edge and put her in the river.
Let me slow you down a little bit and ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
The little dirt spot we see just on the north side of the highway, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, sir. Correct.
And then as we see, and if we were to walk down through there, and I think we'll see a little bit of it on your video, but as we walk down through there, you said there's some form of barrier that one would have to cross to get from the parking spot there to the actual river. Is that correct?
Correct. It's like a guardrail to keep vehicles from going further down.
Makes sense. And so at this point, did Tanner Horner say that he pulled in straight towards that guardrail or backed in, or how did he say that he parked his vehicle?
I believe the initial statement was that he backed in.
So he told you he backed in there, and then what did he tell you he did in order to retrieve Athena's body from the back of the truck? What did he do?
He told me he grabbed her and dragged her down to the creek.
And let me ask you a couple of questions. This vehicle on the back of it, does it have a door that we would open, like a back of a van door, or does it have some form of roll-up door?
On that particular truck, it's a roll-up door.
And so he told you he would have rolled up the door and removed her body from the back of the truck. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now let's talk about what he told you about how he got her specifically from that area over to where the water. I think you used the term drag. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How did he tell you that he drug her body from the back of the truck over to where the water was?
The exact statement that he made, obviously we're going to see here in a little bit, but it was in fact that he drug her body to the creek.
Okay. Now, let me ask you just a little bit here. I notice on this, there appears to be a little clearing here on the other side of the guardrail towards the water. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it looks to be there are a couple of trails and other things that go around that.
Yes, sir.
Where did Tanner say that he went to put her body in the water?
To the left of that flat white spot that you see there on the north side of the road, right off the river, right to the left side of that, there's a drop down into the river.
And this is what I would believe, because people would fish from there or something else. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. You could just access it by walking down, which would make the river accessible to you for whatever recreation you were taking part in.
So the distance between where he started dragging her body on one side of that barrier, all the way down the trail, down the side, and down to the water, how far is that?
I can't give you an exact measurement, but it's got to be at least 30 yards or more.
Okay, so 100 feet or more,
Yes, sir.
and then down to the water.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this terrain that's there, is it smooth and flat like a sidewalk?
No, sir. It's rocky, rough. As you're walking in, it was muddy at that particular time. So it was not easily accessible, especially not at night.
And so his statement is that did he tell you if he drug her by her feet or by her arms, or how did he drag her?
I don't remember the exact statement. I'd have to reflect back to the video.
Okay. And then we get down to the water. He's now drug her down to the water, and what does he tell you that he did once he got her to the edge of the water?
He told me he dropped her right there over the edge.
Okay. Let me ask you, so you get there, you're there in your truck now.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger Briley is there with you. Investigator Oliver is there with you. Tanner Horner is there with you.
Correct.
Does he give you directions to go down where it was? Do you go with him? What is the process by which you got down to where he dumped her body?
We get to that location at Bobo's Crossing, to the guardrail portion of that location, and I pull him out of the truck, and he physically directs me down to where he put her body.
So he takes you all the way down to there.
Yes, sir.
When you get down there, tell me a little bit about the water conditions and the depth of the water when you get down there.
Obviously, that portion of the creek, the water goes approximately 1 foot and gradually increases to the middle of the creek. So it goes from shallow to deep. The water's very murky. At that time, it was stagnant, so it was hard to see.
And let me ask you, when you got down there, Ranger Espinoza, did you find Athena?
Did.
Tell me about, was she in the water?
Yes, sir.
How deep was the water that she was in?
I'd say approximately 30 feet where she was at.
Were you able to see her clearly walking up on him?
I wasn't initially, so when I first walked up to the edge of the creek, he told me she's right there. That's where I put her. And based on the water visibility, it was dark. I had a flashlight. I angled the flashlight at different angles, and I was able to see her nude body buoyant beneath the water.
Now, when you can see that, did you see the entirety of her body or just parts of it?
Partially.
And what did you have to do to be able to see that? What was the manner of means you were able to
I had to adjust my flashlight in a certain way where I could see, but it was very clear she was there once I did that.
Right where you finally told you she was.
Yes, sir.
Now, in the water, what is her position in the water, if you remember?
Based on my location, I could see that she was obviously buoyant beneath the water, and it appeared that she was face down with her arms at her side.
Time out. I'm glad it's not just me.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Thank you, Judge. So now you've located her in the water, you've now used your flashlight, you've spotted her. You said that her body had no clothes.
No, sir.
Let's talk just a little bit of that and take a short detour here. At some point during this, you had told me before in your testimony today, you had a conversation with Tanner Horner about her clothes and whether or not she had clothes on. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, did he tell you that she had her clothes on?
Yes, sir.
Is that true?
No, sir.
Now, at some point after this, after you located her body and after you've done what we'll talk about in just a second, do you have another conversation with him about her clothes?
Yes, sir.
And what does Tanner Horner tell you he did with his clothes?
He eventually ends up telling me he kept her clothes, and she was in fact nude.
Now, about how long is this video from when you leave until you've now found her body?
I would say maybe 45 minutes.